Hari Om and welcome to all the divine Atmajyotis. Let us continue our contemplation based on chapter 4. So, we have been using Sri Prabhuji's Purna Yoga talks as the basis for our contemplation. We've been learning how to chant, as well as now we have started framing questions depending upon the particular shlokas, and we are contemplating them. So, in life, there are only two aspects primarily. There is you, the one who is in this existence. So, who are you? Who am I? Is one of the fundamental questions. And you and I are continuously doing something in life. So, what is the nature of doing and how to do such that you are free from the outcome of the action? That's all that is there to life. And to realize that is many chapters in Bhagavad Gita, 3, 4, 5. In fact, if you look at it, the main thread of the being and the doing is what continuously flows through the entirety of Bhagavad Gita. So let us continue contemplating on now based on the shloka 4.10. So shloka 4.10, just to recollect, is Vitaraga Bhayak Prodha Manmaya Mamupashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhava Magataha. Being free from attachment, fear, and anger, becoming fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me and thus attained my divine love. This is what Sri Krishna is saying. So, based on that, we have come up with these questions. So, either you can take question by question or consider the whole shloka and these questions and share your viewpoints. Shall we begin from you, Padma Amma?
ಯಾವ್ದು ಸರ್ 11th ಅಲ್ವಾ?
Yes, Amma.
Why should one be free from attachment, fear and anger? ನಾವು ಈ ಭಯ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಂಧನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೋಪ, ಕ್ರೋಧ ಇವುಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟವನ್ನ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವುಗಳಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ನಾವು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹುಡ್ಕಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವೋ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ಬಹುದು, ನಾವು ಹೊರ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನ ಹೇಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನ ಹೇಗ್ ಕಂಡಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ದುಃಖದ ಒಂದು ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸುಖ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಂಡು ಬಂದ್ರು ಅದು ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ 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 ದುಃಖ, ಈ ಸಂಕಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಹೊರ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹೊರ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನೇ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತವೆ. ಈ ಹೊರ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ವಸ್ತು ವಿಷಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಇದು ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದು ರಾಗವಾಗಿ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ್ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು, ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಧಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದಿಲ್ಲದೆ ನನಗೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಬಹುದು, ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಂತೂ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ವಸ್ತು ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಯಾವುದು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಇದ್ದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತು ಇದ್ದು ಹೋಗುವಂತಹವೇ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ವಸ್ತು ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಹಾಗೆ. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಅದು ದೂರ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಕ್ರೋಧ ಉಂಟಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಭಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದು ನನ್ನಿಂದ ದೂರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ವಸ್ತು ವಿಷಯಗಳಿಂದಲೇ ಬರುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಆ ಭಯ ಉಂಟಾಗುವುದು ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನೇ. ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಅದು ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ವಸ್ತು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ವಿಷಯ ಅಂತಲೇ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಅದು ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದುಃಖ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೋಪ, ಕ್ರೋಧ ಉಂಟಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಈ ವೃತ್ತಿಗಳೇ ವಾಸನೆಯಾಗಿ ಅವೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನರಪಿ ಜನನಂ ಪುನರಪಿ ಮರಣಂಗೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ನಿಜವಾದ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಹತ್ವ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ನಾವು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಂತೂ ಇರಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಇದೆ, ಇದು ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕವಾದದ್ದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಸ್ತು ವಿಷಯಗಳು ತಾತ್ಕಾಲಿಕವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ನನ್ನದಾಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು, ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ವಿಷಯ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಸತ್ಯವನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡಾಗ. ಆ ಸತ್ಯ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಸತ್ಯವಾದದ್ದು. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದಾದಾಗ ಈ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪ್ಪಿನ ಬೊಂಬೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಮುದ್ರವೇ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀನವಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹೇಗೆ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಉಪ್ಪು ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಗವಂತನನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಲೀನವಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಅರ್ಥ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೆಫ್ಯೂಜ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಹೊರ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಆಶ್ರಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇಕು, ನನಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಆವಾಗ ಆ ಒಂದು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಆಶ್ರಯದಾತ ಇರ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಹೋಮ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದು, ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದರ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಭಗವಂತನ ನಾನು ಆತ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಾಗುವುದೇ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದದ್ದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅದರ ಆಶ್ರಯವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಪಡೆದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಹ ನನಗೆ ಗೌಣವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಈ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ನನ್ನದು ಜೀವನ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಅವಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರಿಸ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಡದೇ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಆರಿಸಿ ಕಸ ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಗೆದು ಕಲ್ಲು ಮಣ್ಣು ಎಲ್ಲ ತೆಗೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಕ್ಕಿನ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಡೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ಬಿಸಾಕೋದೆ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತೆಗ್ದಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅರಿಷಡ್ ವರ್ಗಗಳನ್ನ ತೆಗ್ದಾಕ್ಬೇಕು. ಈ ಅನುಮಾನ, ಈ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಫಿಯರ್, ಆಂಗರ್, ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತೆಗ್ದಾಕ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿ. ನಾನು ಈ ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ, ಈ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ, ಬುದ್ಧಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಾರ್ದು, ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ಮಗಳಿಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿಯಾದ ಆತ್ಮನೇ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ, ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸ್ಮಿತಾಜಿ.
ಪದ್ಮಮ್ಮ ಹೇಳದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಬಾಕಿನೇ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ.
Every bird, when it sings, no, it sings in its own beautiful way.
ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಸದ್ಯ ಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡಿ. Why should one be free from attachment, fear and anger? What does full absorption mean? What does refuge mean? What does purification mean? In my understanding, free from attachment, fear and anger is the primary feeling, primary action of the human form, or the living being. The primary instincts or primary behavior, which is the animal instinct, what we say. So attachment to the material could be to another human being, to material is non-living things. That attachment, the fear of loss, again of a loved one, or fear of some material, fear of, oh, what my future holds, what will happen tomorrow, uh, and all of this leading this fear and anxiety, causing anxiety causing frustration causing uh, anger. So all of these are one linking to another, coming from that attachment towards and causing this fear and anger. So why should one be free? Is to, in order to attain the higher order of thing, higher order of, to be one with the Lord, to think that okay, all of this is happening, not happening to me, it is there, and I am just an observer, and this is happening somewhere else, like a movie you are watching. It is not happening to me, so you don't have to get emotionally attached to that movie. But we so many times see the scene and start crying, or at least I do even now. So if a movie is going, you feel very, it is happening in my family, or something, so like that. How can you keep yourself away from these attachments and see yourself as a separate, is what Lord Krishna says in this sloka, no? If the one who frees themselves from this sees me, and is only refuge in me, saying that okay, I am, you get into this boat and you're sailing, you don't think about all of these things, you're sitting in that boat, I am that boat, you're just sailing in that boat. So you are taken refuge in me, you have nowhere to go. That boat, if once you're in that boat and you're in a sea, or in a water body, you can't jump into the sea, you can't do anything. You just believe that the boatman is taking you and this boat is carrying you. So you have taken refuge in me. There is no nothing else. Everything, you are surrounded by 100 things. In the water, that is whatever is there, it is flowing. You have taken refuge in that, and you are just going through it, flowing. So that's how I visualize it, seeing that then you have taken refuge in that, and then there is no question. You are uh, uh, just sailing through this without any fear or attachment. You will just go through all of these uh, situations in life when you have taken refuge uh, in me, or you have fully absorbed in me. That's what I understand this sloka as.
When you say refuge in me, can you elaborate on that? What does it mean to take refuge in? So here Krishna is speaking. So to take refuge in Krishna, what does it mean to take refuge in Krishna?
Here to take refuge in Krishna is, my understanding is, the very belief that uh, this the Supreme Lord is there with me, is in me. I am Brahman, so if I'm the belief that I am, uh, you know, in control of, uh, I of all my of what is happening, then you don't worry about, oh, what will happen if this boat will go away, or what will happen, I ಮುಳುಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. You're not thinking of all of those things. You have taken, when you say you are refuge in the divine power, your belief is so strong that all of these things don't disturb you. All the thoughts that come, typically that would come in your mind, will not disturb you, or those thoughts will not come. Even if they come, they are not going to disturb you. That is what I believe.
Okay, so if you look at it here, Sri Krishna is not talking about belief. Sri Krishna is talking about jnana tapasa.
Purified by knowledge of me.
Huh. So he's not talking about some kind of a belief. Of course, faith is a kind of a deeper sense of belief. But what is the nature of the faith, or what does he mean by jnana tapasa? What does he mean by refuge here?
It means by the realization, that knowledge, now you have realized who I am, who you are. Firstly, you have realized that there is no, in keeping in being free from attachment, fear and anger. You have realized the your true nature. That is the knowledge that is referring to. That once you have realized that true nature, this uh, fear would go away. This attachment is unimportant. This materialistic nature is of no value. That realization, that knowledge is what uh, brings you closer to, that comes closer to you. That's what is referred here.
Excellent. So which means that, can you now elaborate on the nature of the belief that you mentioned? So generally, when it is said, take refuge, there is a, total, oh, I am useless, ella devriche. So it can lead into a sense of lack of any kind of usage of your own inherent faculties. So what is the nature of belief? What is the nature of the refuge?
No, so here, yeah, exactly. Actually, good point. Refuge here is not in a negative connotation of saying refuge, like refugee coming from, I've taken refugee means you are helpless and you are dependent on other person. This is not that refuge. Here refuge, again, I will bring back my word of belief, it is I am, if Brahman is in me, I am in control of my senses. I can be in or control of me, or I am in fully absorbed and fully knowledgeable, right? Then you're free. It is like an exam. You are well read, you are prepared, then you're free from the fear. Oh, what will happen? What you will go and write what you have prepared, you will write the exam and come. You are free from what will happen, what if I fail, what if question paper is tough. All, you are free from that. You have prepared, you are ready. That's all that matters. So it is more from that perspective I see your meaning of refuge here. You have gained understanding. You are purified by the knowledge that whatever is happening, I am uh, uh, away from the materialistic uh, you know attachments. I do not need to be fearful of the consequences. Hence, I do not need to be uh, frustrated. I don't need to feel like I'm such that this is causing anger, or you are afraid of being uh, or afraid of any materialistic loss in that sense. That is what here we mean. So when you are, it is a gaining of strength, that you have full faith and belief that this is me, and I can perform my duties, but with this detachment.
Excellent.
Then you're performing for doing that, for performing, and not for the end result. Then you're fully absorbed in the action itself.
Excellent. Is there anything more that you would like to ponder on? Why is there a question about purification? So Sri Krishna is saying, uh, so they've got purified. So why is he referring to purification?
Again, in the same line of, you have the when you have you have realized that this body is perishable, there is no use of being attached to materialistic thing. You have understood the true nature, right? So when you have, it is like distilled out, and distillation has happened, and you have clean, you have now understood the true nature. You are purified. That's, I mean, if I were to give uh, an example, right? So that when you have distilled out the water with all the impurities, and it has become purified, you have understood the true nature of the self, true nature of how one should work in absorption. You have taken, you are actually taking refuge in yourself. You know, you can do this, or it is your duty to do without all this attachment. Then you are in the true sense, you are purified.
Wonderful. Very nice, Smita ji. Anything more?
No, I'm good.
Thank you very much. So when we look at as a human, the fundamental nature of the constitution, there is body, there is mind. So the earlier chapters of Bhagavad Gita already set the tone for who I am. In life, the suffering that I go through, the suffering that anyone goes through, is because of wrong understanding of who I am. There is a deeper sense of association or attachment to I being a body and I being a mind. I being a man body, woman body, tall body, fat body, good body, ugly body, whatever. So, like that, I carry a sense of who I am about my body. I carry a sense about who I am, which is not necessarily in the body, but it is more in the mind. About I being a Kannadiga, I knowing I'm being an intelligent, or I'm being stupid, or I'm being a Tamilian, whatever. So, like that, there are various concepts that you and I carry in life about who I think I am. And when you examine this closely, the body is purely a functional. It is an existential functional unit. It doesn't really uh, have its own kind of independent thinking by which it will do something nasty for you. So all the thinking that you and I do is happening in mind, based on whatever you and I are carrying about life, about who I am. All that is what constitutes you and I to function in a certain way in life. So, this is the fundamental nature of how one functions in life, which is the source of suffering. When the understanding about who I am is incorrect. That is the first thing that Sri Krishna clarifies right at the beginning of the second chapter, when he starts letting Arjuna know, when he starts teaching Arjuna about the truths of life. The very first thing that he teaches is, Arjuna, you have a wrong understanding about who you are. Realize your true nature is Sat Chit Ananda, Satchidananda Swarupa. That is your true nature. Sat means I exist. I am there. There is no doubt about it. That is the truth. The chit means I am a conscious being. So the confusion that I am a body, I am a whatever the information that I've gathered, which is what we call as mind, neither of them is the correct understanding. The correct understanding is you and I are Sat Chit Ananda. Sat, I am there. That is a self-evident. It is not a thinking based I exist. Oh, I am thinking, therefore I exist. No, no. I exist, therefore I am able to think. So that is inherent. It is not something that is coming because of something. There is no conditions attached to the very feeling of I am there. It is unconditional. So therefore, free from any kind of modifications. So nothing can affect. Your life situations have been changing. You may have gained something, lost something. You may have got praise, you may have got insult. So life situations have been changing. You may have been living in place A and gone to place B. You may have had 10 people with you earlier. Now you may be having 50 people. So like that, life situations are changing. The house you are living has changed. The kind of food you're eating may have changed. Situations are changing. But the fundamental fact that I am the one who's going through these situations hasn't changed. That I hasn't changed. If you write a biography of yours, life history of yours, you will start writing, I was born here, I went there, I did this, I done that. So that I is a constant word in all the sentences that you will use when describing your biography, your life story. So in the life story, in that sentence, the I part is the same, but the rest of the sentence, what you did, what you ate, what you wore, who you spoke to, what they spoke to you, that part is a changing part, which is what you and I call as life. So the fundamental source of suffering in life is because somewhere this clarity of who I am, that I am this unchanging I in all these stories of my life. And this unchanging I is not something that is coming and going in the story. Somebody may have come and said, you're a beautiful person. You're looking very nice. Some years later, the same person, the same friend may come and say, what has happened to you? You're looking so ugly and fat. So when I am associated with this beautiful, ugly and fat, because the comment is coming from the body, I am also going to go through the suffering associated with. If I associate the beautiful as positive in my mind, if I associate the ugly or fat as not so positive in my mind, then I also go through all that up and down. So this is the fundamental ignorance that Sri Krishna wants you and me to come out of. Who I am. I am not this changing, coming and going. What is all changing? The body is changing. So I am not this body. What else is changing? The mind, the information is changing. So I am also not the mind. I am the one in whose presence both the mind and the body changes can be seen. This is the first and foremost fundamental clarity. Who I am. So in that Sat Chit, very easy to understand. Sat and Chit. Sat and Chit. Sat means I exist, no doubt about it. Chit, I am a conscious being. So the consciousness of what is happening in my life, what is this I am listening to now? What is the meaning of this? All that becomes apparent only when whatever the sensations, they come in touch with me. By themselves, the sensations cannot bring consciousness. So there's an inherent capacity in you and me of being the conscious being. So these two aspects, the Sat and the Chit, are very easy to realize once when we look at it using the right jnana that Sri Krishna Sadguru gives. It is the last part of who you are, your true nature, Sat Chit Ananda. That Ananda is the little bit of a challenging aspect. So, in theory, it is easy to understand. The source of whatever pleasure that you have felt in your life is not the object, it is inherent. We have seen this in the past through several examples. So, take a simple example of you eating a mango. So, the first mango, nice. Second mango, okay. Third mango, oh, not so nice. Fourth, fifth, sixth, he is not giving the same sense of pleasure. So, through this simple example, you and I can come to now understand that the material, the object, is when it is more and more, is not increasing the pleasure more and more. Many a times it actually is causing less and less, and in fact can even lead to some kind of a sadness, worry, as that thing becomes more. So, which means that the sense of ananda, or whatever I refer as pleasure, is not because of that object. Then, where it is, it also must be inherent. It also must be part of me, a inherent nature of me. That is a realization. Sat Chit Ananda. However, this Ananda, when it is understood like this, easier to understand. But in practice, in life, in day-to-day situations, it is not so obvious. When contemplating, it becomes very clear. But as one is going through the whatever the ups and downs of life, somebody comes and gives the news. There is a huge loss in your business. Somebody comes and gives the report and says that this is the disease your body has now got. Somebody comes and says, oh, you know what happened? Suddenly there was a market loss and all your investment has gone away. Something like that. Various kinds of situations come in life. When situations come, suddenly this ananda, the feeling of ananda, though it is inherent, though it is not at all related to the object or whatever the sensation that is coming in. What is news of life? News is nothing but something like a visual and a smell and whatever these five senses gather and bring to your mind a sensation. That is what a situation of life is. So that situation of life is not the one that is causing the ananda, though it is known when that situation happens, there is still a tendency that has developed in the mind towards the situation, the affinity towards the situation, or the I don't want this situation kind of an affinity. Both are kind of affinities, both are kind of tendencies. I want this kind of a situation. I don't want this kind of a situation in my life. I want only praises in my life. I don't want insults in my life. I want only victories in my life. I don't want any kind of defeats in my life. This is a tendency. This is a deep rooted way the mind has been trained due to various social and other circumstantial reasons. Whatever may be the reason, but these tendencies have got deeply lodged in the mind. So, whenever a situation happens, these tendencies rise, and the whole of the jnana that the Bhagavad-Gita or Sadguru is giving also seems to immediately wash away. So, many people come and say, it is so nice when I'm in the satsanga, when I'm listening to Sadguru, that everything seems to be so settled. I'm feeling so peaceful. Everything is correct. But you know what? I go home and I look at my husband or I look at my wife. Ayyo, again it starts. Or that relative comes and starts speaking. Again it starts. Or I go to my office, look at my boss. You don't tell me what happens to me. So like that, there seems to be a loss of clarity that was gained during contemplation. So Ananda doesn't seem to be my own nature of how I am truly whenever a situation happens. What is the reason for that? The reason why Ananda is not my moment to moment experience is because of how I have cultivated my mind, how you have cultivated your mind. So, the jnana that I am not any of the life situations, I am not this body, I am not this mind. So, life situation is nothing but what I interpret in my mind. It is also nothing but information. I am not that. Is clear during contemplation, but not established. That is the fundamental reason why, when situations happen, I still tend to flow away. So, Sri Krishna's teaching, Sadhguru's teaching, is not just about, okay, there is a truth, realization of the truth is important because then only you can start transforming. But the usage of that in moment to moment, in day to day situations, is what is important. To be established in that truth, to realize is one aspect, to be established is another aspect. Truth, realize, and use. There is truth. Realization happens when Sadhguru explains, when Shastra gives you clarity during satsang. But am I established? Am I using it in my moment to moment, day to day life situations? Is where Ananda is either experienced or not experienced. And that depends upon what kind of information I'm carrying. So the whole of the karma yoga, like I mentioned earlier, there are only two aspects. In fact, there are no two aspects, but to begin with, there are two aspects: who you are, who I am, and how I function in life. So there's a being and a doing. So how I am doing, whatever that I am doing, is where catch of life is where the clarity about Ananda can go away or can continue to be there. So to get established in my true nature, I need to work with the mind that I only have cultivated, and I need to purify that, because it is in this mind that these tendencies have developed. Who let them develop? I only have let them develop. So, as a simple example, I may be addicted to tea. How did the addiction to tea happen? Because I consume tea in the morning once, twice, thrice. Over a period of time, it has become such an addiction that without it, I feel a headache, dizziness, maybe lack of clarity, fogginess, all these things have come. How? Because I have cultivated the habit of drinking tea. So now my body and my mind is constantly craving for it. So, like that, whatever the tendencies are developed by me only, maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously. Sometimes I may have developed it consciously. Sometimes it may have just simply come, and without necessarily examining it, I may have simply accepted and made it a habit pattern. So, such is the nature of human mind. So, when Sri Krishna says Bhaya and Krodha are coming because I have cultivated a habit pattern in my mind that I will be more or less depending upon my life situations. There's a deep rooted thinking that I am going to be less if something from life doesn't come to me. If I'm not earning, I will be less. If I'm not getting the praises, I'll be less. What if whatever I have already gathered goes away? So this becomes a deep rooted thinking in you and me, in a human mind. So through the Karma Sanyasa Yoga. How to give up karma. What does it mean to even give up karma? To give up karma in the right knowledge, in the right understanding, to give up karma doesn't mean to let go of your dharma, doesn't mean to let go of your duties, but to give up karma. Karma means what? Anything that is selfish. I want this. I am doing this. So, from that, to be a vehicle for dharma is the true essence by which my mind, your mind, from whatever the human kind of thought processes that have been gathered, can be cleaned. And as it gets cleaned, how does it clean? By the Divya Jnana. What is Divya? That which takes you to your true nature. Your true nature is pure, eternal. So something that is eternal has to be pure. Means what? It has no malina. There is nothing less or more in that. Something in life, anything in life has limitations. You take whatever may be, your degree, your beauty, whatever it may be, that you associate as something because of done something and have gained in life. It still has a limitation. It is still a relative thing. There is somebody who is more than you in that area, more intelligent, more wealthy. So, like that, there is always something more. Then, in relation to that, I'm always something less. But that which is inherent cannot have such a comparison, cannot be relative. It is absolute. It is there, and there is no other, there is no comparison. So, to go back and to get established to your own inherent divine nature, the mind where you and I have cultivated human knowledge has to be purified by the divine knowledge, has to be cleansed by the divine knowledge, not just as an information, but as a transformation. And the transformation is where you and I have to cultivate and continuously be in tapasa, jnana tapasa. Do whatever you and I are doing every moment with the right clarity. Who is doing? Why am I doing? What is the purpose of my doing? How I should do whatever I am doing. Very, very important subtle aspects which help me get rid of my own deep rooted attachment to the conditions of life, to the situations of life. Ultimately, it is my attachment to situations of life that makes me suffer. And to be free, I have to be situated, I have to be established in the right clarity. And that clarity can be inhibited by life situations when the conditioning of the mind is impeding. So, to cleanse chitta shuddhi. So, jnana is simple, but to be established in jnana, chitta shuddhi, my mind has to be cleansed. So, therefore, Sri Krishna is again and again talking about how I should function in life. From karma, I have to function in life to be a vehicle of dharma. And to be a vehicle of dharma, I need the right jnana. And then true sannyasa, who I am, how I should function. And as that becomes established, the last aspect in the Sat Chit Ananda, Ananda starts shining eternally. Because that is the truth. And that truth has to be established in each one. And that is why karma, how to do karma, is very, very important. And Sri Krishna and Sadguru are teaching you and me. Do service. Service is the simplest path to self-realization. Hari Om. Is there any additional questions or anything else that anybody wants to add to what has been said so far?
No, very well explained.
Thank you.
ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಬಂತು ಸರ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು.
Agli Amma. Then let us conclude our today's contemplation session here. Hari Om.
Yeah.